start with a 2021 recap of the cloud computing industry, and then I'm going to move on to some key drivers for 2022. The first point I'll bring up is this continued shift to the cloud. So companies and entire industries in 2021 have continued to move their data over to the cloud. While a lot of this started with the pandemic in 2020, the need to work from anywhere has continued in 2021. Imagine going through this pandemic without Netflix to be able to stream your favorite movies, or Zoom to be able to use for video conferencing and getting your work done. The Wall Street Journal actually highlights cloud computing as one of the fastest growing sectors in tech right now, which you can see from the performance of a lot of these cloud computing companies over the year. The cloud computing market is expected to grow from $700 billion in 2021 to about $1.3 trillion in 2025. Looking at Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, a lot of their revenue growth from this year actually came from their growth in their cloud divisions. So AWS actually posted its strongest revenue growth since 2019. Microsoft Azure, so their cloud computing division, actually grew 50% year over year in their third quarter. And it actually fueled their highest revenue growth since 2018. Google also grew, their cloud division also grew about 45% year over year in their third quarter. Two industries that we noticed that continued to adopt cloud computing in 2021 were healthcare and manufacturing. So Google Cloud actually released a report that found that 90% of physicians currently use telehealth compared to only 32% pre-pandemic. And 62% of those people said that the pandemic forced their healthcare organization to make technology improvements that would have otherwise taken years, including migrating a lot of data to the cloud. Manufacturing companies also had to embrace the cloud in order to keep their supply chains operational with less in-person staff. One thing is that this increased shift to the cloud has resulted in more need for data security. One hurdle for widespread adoption in the cloud remains this concern around cybersecurity and data privacy. A lot of the reason for these cybersecurity breaches comes from misconfigurations of the cloud, which cybercriminals can then exploit. So it's going to be very important that as companies continue their shift to the cloud, they also increase their cybersecurity spend in tandem. Looking at 2022, one interesting element to watch will be how companies decide to leverage the use of the cloud. So McKinsey actually talks about the cloud computing industry as a $1 trillion opportunity. And they actually break down this figure into two parts. The first part is rejuvenate, and the second part is innovate. So the rejuvenate aspect of this opportunity refers to companies adopting cloud computing as a way to optimize costs and a way to digitize core businesses. So when the pandemic hit, it was kind of that knee-jerk reaction of what do we need to do to move our data to the cloud so we continue to operate when everyone moves to work from home. That opportunity is believed to be valued at around $400 billion. McKinsey, however, believes that the real opportunity in the cloud computing industry is how companies are going to use this to drive new innovations. They value that opportunity at almost twice as much, at $700 billion. So what we think we will start to see in 2022 is that the real winners of this shift will be the organizations that use this technological development to enhance and innovate their current offerings. Another theme that we think we will continue to see in 2022 is new industries embracing the cloud. Currently, only 50% of the world's data is actually stored in the cloud, so we still have a long way to go as a lot of these older companies with legacy systems continue to shift their data to the cloud. One example is the financial services sector, which has been a lot slower to adopt cloud computing. Google actually invested $1 billion in Futures Exchange CME Group in a 10-year partnership to move their daily trading systems over to the cloud. So Google's cloud limit will actually eventually power markets that handle trillions of dollars in trades every day. The final trend that we think we will see in 2022 in the cloud computing industry is further consolidation. AWS alone makes up about 1/3 of the industry, which is nearly twice as much as their next competitor, Microsoft. And together, AWS, Microsoft, and Google control over 50% of the industry. So we will likely see a lot of these larger cloud computing companies start to acquire a lot of the smaller ones. Overall, we're really excited about the trends in the cloud computing industry. And because of the fact that there's still a long way to go before all of the world's data is on the cloud, we do feel it's still a great time to enter from an investment standpoint.